I love superheroes. Who loves superheroes? When I was a kid, I would watch on television Batman and Superman and, of course, Wonder Woman with Linda Carter. Who does not love Wonder Woman with Linda Carter? She's awesome. And so that's why I was so excited to see that the marketing for this event, DEXT Force Festival, turned us all speakers into superheroes, including me. So exciting. But I'm here to tell you that all of you here in this room and everyone across the world has their own superpowers as users of the internet, as well as all of the decentralized technologies that are merging everywhere across the world. And today I want to use my time, since I have the honor of kicking off DEXT Force Festival, this DeFi Congress, to actually explain to you my interpretation of what is DeFi and Web3, because I think there's a lot of confusion, and also explain some projects I'm directly involved with or friends of mine are across the world, and finally really talk about why we should care about this world. Before I do that, I really want to thank our host, DEXT Tools, as a platform that's really enabling making it easier to not just do decentralized trading, but building products across the world. To have this explanation today, I want to call upon the superpowers of my three favorite superheroes. I'm a DC Comics fan, so of course it's the holy trinity of superheroes. To use the mind to actually understand Web3 and DeFi, understand the strength of action that we can deploy, and finally, the heart of why we should care. And of course, that means we have to call upon the powers of Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman. So we'll begin with the mind, which Batman is so excellent at, figuring things out, getting to the heart of intelligence. What really is DeFi and Web3? I've thought about this a lot because I began my journey into the Bitcoin and blockchain space professionally about 10 years ago. I was a digital technology and IP lawyer in the United States for 21 years and a partner at major law firms, and my clients started calling me about Bitcoin around 2011 and 12. And about 8 years ago, I left my law partnership life to join the Bitcoin industry, joining an ecosystem and becoming CEO of a London-based company, Nchain, and then becoming president of one of the global Bitcoin blockchain associations, which was trying to actually scale Bitcoin to make it useful. Because the BTC network, although it's got a lot of value in it, in terms of money put into it, it's not used for much in terms of data or micropayments. And this is where the journey of understanding DeFi and Web3 begins. It's with blockchain. Bitcoin was the first successful blockchain that emerged in the world, and it was there to solve a specific problem, which is to make payments across the internet, including small payments between me and you, peer-to-peer, anywhere in the world, more efficient, to make it cheaper, less expensive, faster, so that we could actually get rid of all these intermediaries. I need some help with the remote, thank you. So these are the intermediaries we live with today. When you make a credit card payment, the issuer, the merchant acquirer, and they all add delay and, more importantly, cost to the payment system. Bitcoin solved that by actually creating a model where you have a distributed ledger of transactions that's published to the world so that we could all verify it. So it was designed to create a system where I could send to my friend Derek Hugenkamp anywhere in the world a payment instantly for low cost. And because this blockchain, all it really does is timestamp events in history. I send you a Bitcoin payment, but it could timestamp other forms of data. I purchase a vehicle, sell it to you, and record the vehicle title on a ledger that marks in time when that event happens. That opens the door to lots of opportunities. All right, Beth, thank you very much. And so how does this all relate to the world of decentralized finance? Bitcoin obviously was designed to try to create a payment system where we needed fewer of those intermediaries for payments. But the blockchain, because it's a published ledger of events in history that can automate functions, can create a world where we take out those middle people for other forms of financial products. So in a decentralized finance world, you have a sender going through the blockchain to send payments to a receiver without the payment networks, the banks, PayPal, Venmo, whatever you're using in between. But we can take that a step further. You can go a lot further by going to see what other things DeFi can do. And I think I need people to walk away from there because that doesn't work. Thank you. So DeFi takes us a step further where you can use blockchain not just to automate payments, but all other forms of financial services. loans, for example, the ability to exchange stock or other digital assets, commodities, the whole range of digital financial services we live in today. What if you took out the stock exchange in the middle? What if you took out the bank for creating loans and I could lend money to you directly peer-to-peer and you pay me back directly at a lower interest rate than a bank would charge? That is what DeFi is, and it uses the blockchain because you need something to automate this process where you can trust the data and the events in history. But you can take that beyond just financial services to identity. And this is a key aspect of what DeFi and Web3 can deliver. Today's internet lives in a world where we use all these social networks on this side. And every time we go into one of those platforms, you log in with your own identity data that's stored on each platform. And every platform you upload content to, whether it's on Twitter, on Facebook, Instagram. I post a lot about my travels with work across the world. And I have to upload a photo or a video to each different platform. Or imagine a different world where you had your identity data in one central place on a blockchain, managed on a blockchain. And these services actually just interface with your identity, and you don't have to keep entering your ID information again and again. Or you upload your video or file to the blockchain, and all of the social media services are an interface to your content and identity data on a publicly available blockchain. It changes the paradigm and gives you as the user the superpowers of owning, controlling, and monetizing not just your content, but also your identity information, something that's not possible in today's world. And this is why Web 1 moved from the world of very static websites where you as a user were passive. You were an audience member who read a static website, to Web 2, where you became a user that was active. You created content and created what was being seen on Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube. But you lacked the ability to control that content if the service disabled your account. To a world of Web 3, where we have decentralized data transactions that are connected through blockchain wallets, where you as a user have more power and control over your data and content. That's what Web 3 is, moving from these different worlds to a world where all of these services interact with your content and your payments through blockchain wallets. And it is more than just about the services I just described. Why this is so exciting is the Web3 world will call upon metaverse, AI, and so many other technology sectors that I'm sure many of you are working on. So now, let's call upon Superman's powers. I was a huge Christopher Reeve Superman movie fan back in the 1980s. And one of the things I always loved is how he got into action with strength. So let me give you examples of a few projects that I'm personally involved in, or some friends of mine are, to show you the strength of this technology in action. You saw on the earlier slide that stablecoins are critical to the DeFi world. Because when you're doing financial services in an automated way, people usually don't want to accept payment in native crypto. Most of the rest of the world want a stable coin. So having a stable coin is very important for this. There's a lot on the market, like Tether, USDC, for example. So I'm chairman of this new company that a friend of mine launched, building stable coins on the BSV blockchain because it's a more scalable version of Bitcoin. And the reason we're doing that is to actually make stable coins used in daily payments. Today, most people buy stable coins to just buy other crypto, or maybe send large payments, but you don't see a lot of daily payments in games at merchants with stable coins. So we're building a change stablecoin suite that actually is for stablecoins to be used, for 2-cent payments in a game, to tip people on Twitter if you like their tweet, for example, or now a post. So we launched with our first, which is a US dollar-denominated stablecoin called CGUSD that is available through a platform called One Alpha, based out of Hong Kong, which is an institutional liquidity provider and exchange. So this is more of a wholesale play. We're not really going direct to retail buyers, but the wholesale customers will then distribute to their ecosystems. So stablecoins are very important for this world of financial services that are decentralized. In addition, one of my good friends out of Kenya is the founder and CEO of BitLipa, which started as a cryptocurrency exchange and wallet, but he's moving it to be more of a B2B institutional connector for financial services in this digital world, with basically connecting everything through one API. One of the things he does is facilitate cross-border remittance and payments more efficiently, which can cost 8 to 10% of the amount someone sends through normal services. But by using stablecoins and some automated functions, he reduces that significantly. But a big thing DeFi services can do is make it easier for SMEs, small, medium enterprises, in the developing and emerging markets access credit and capital. Most small businesses in those markets do not get money from banks on loans or credit facilities. It makes it very hard for them to start a business or grow a business. And that is because of the high risk in those markets. So what he's done is decided to create a system where people can invest from institutional investors or you in the public using stable coins into a DeFi liquidity pool, which will be then used to offer loans or credit to SMEs, which banks will not do. And they can automate the process of repaying the loans through smart contracts on blockchain. This is an excellent example of how blockchain can reduce the intermediaries with the world and eliminate banks and provide a service that they're not providing to SMEs. Another company that I'm involved with is doing that called InvoiceMate, which is based out of Dubai, started by my friend Mohammed Salman Anjum. I'm chairman of this company as well. And what it started is as an invoice management platform using blockchain to track the journey of invoices more efficiently. However, its really new key business model is creating a bridge between two halves, SMEs who need capital and banks who traditionally did not used to want to issue what are called invoice financing or factoring, where they issue loans to an SME on the amount of invoices that have not yet been paid, which is an asset to the company. But banks in these regions don't want to do it. It happens in the US a lot because of the high risk and diligence process. Because our blockchain product with some AI makes it less risky to issue loans against those invoices, we've convinced now about 10 banks in Pakistan and the UAE to offer money into credit pools that issue loans to SMEs organized by those partners on that side to create a marketplace where invoice financing can give cash to SMEs faster using the power of blockchain. This is how financial services can be really disrupted and improved. We're also looking in the future to make this more Web3 by creating a crowdsourced liquidity pool similar to BitLipa, where you can all contribute small amounts of money into a liquidity pool, probably using stable coins, and then we can tokenize and fractionalize one invoice, break it up into many, so you as an individual could lend money on only a portion of an invoice, which again requires Web3 and blockchain technology. Now, Mohammed's son is taking this to the next generation. He is one of the most brightest young men I have met. He's 19 years old now and has already launched his own company called Desiverse to help use NFT and Web3 technology to preserve Desi culture. Take a look at it. It's really cool. And here, I need audio on this, please. Back in the back. It's audio, thank you. And so the company allows gamers to create like NFT assets that are using Desi culture and allow them to be used and accessed by multiple games across the world. It's also creating a DAO so that people can buy the tokens and vote about the use of the funds to improve all of these game and NFT technologies. And I'm going to say to the AV people, I need to make sure audio is on for the end. So thank you very much. So this is just a really good example of a young entrepreneur trying to take advantage of these great powers of Web3. So finally, let me go to Wonder Woman, who's obviously one of my super favorites, and talk to you about why this all matters, especially for places that you may not think about. And I think even though in the developed countries, like the US, UK, we are looking at all this for an investment perspective, my heart goes to the developing and emerging markets where 1 billion people across the world have no records of their identity, and 1.7 billion are unbanked, do not have bank accounts and access to financial services, and 3.7 billion do not have sufficient connectivity to the internet to be able to use all these apps and things we talk about. And this is where DeFi and Web3 can really play a role in improving things. One, because you can manage people's identity more easily on blockchain. You can create accessibility to financial services with just a smartphone or even a feature phone and not bank accounts. You can lower the cost of engaging in remittance, lending, and other financial services. And most importantly, as you've seen from two of the examples I discussed today, you can provide new forms of liquidity pools to people who need it the most. That's something the traditional financial service providers are not doing. And that's why you see records like this and statistics which show that the amount of DeFi loans originating across the world, it's not a huge amount in actual dollar terms today, but they concentrate in the developing and emerging markets such as India, Indonesia, Mexico, Panama, Peru, and a bit in my native country of Vietnam. And so that is why, in addition to my work across the world in the most developed markets, such as Nigeria, Pakistan, and Vietnam, I am continuing with this journey where I spend some of my time in these places because I have relationships to try and grow usage of all of these technologies. I alone can't fix everything, but I'm trying to use my platform and resources to help in these areas. Can you check the audio on that? Thank you. Yeah, thank you. So as I get to the end of my time here, I want to end by talking about my journey out of Vietnam. And I usually often talk about my father, but this time I'm going to mention my mother. So I'm the youngest of 4 children born in Vietnam to 2 parents who had to flee Vietnam the night before Saigon fell in April of 1975. That's my family in Vietnam. And we were resettled into the United States in Southern California where I grew up. So a lot of the opportunities I have are because I had education and career platforms in the developed world that led me to become a lawyer, president of a global blockchain, and now leading many business initiatives across the world myself. I believe it's important that we use the work we do, the power of DeFi, Web3, or whatever technology interests you, to empower the potential of all. That's why my new business is called Nguyen Global. It's a play on my last name, Nguyen, which no one can pronounce in the US, so it's Nguyen. And I have basically created an alliance network of businesses across the world, some of which you see here, including my friend Derek Hugenkamp from Yala Limited, to help empower services and products across the world to do this. I do it in the developing regions, such as in Nigeria with this team, Pakistan with my friend Arzish, and Asia with my friend Liz Lee from China. And just a couple of weeks ago, I led a delegation of companies, my Justice League, to the Digital Nigeria conference run by the government of Nigeria in Abuja to develop business opportunities for deployment of a lot of these technologies. I ask you to think about doing the same, about how you can use your own superpowers of mind, strength, and heart. And you don't have to be Batman, Superman, or Wonder Woman, but you can be your own hero. Mine is my mother, who just turned 86 last October, so she now loves puzzle books, as you can see in this picture. She's my hero. And I will leave you with this story. When my family left, they took currency, Vietnamese dong notes, that of course became worthless overnight. They lost all their property, their other assets. But my mother used her superpower of being shrewd, which is she had been converting money into gold, little gold units. Instead of carrying it in a bag that she had leaving Vietnam, she wrapped it in a towel and put it underneath her shirt. And she never took it off across the entire journey. And after living in the United States in a 2-bedroom apartment, our whole family, one day my mom went to the landlord and said, "We're moving out because we bought a house." And the landlord didn't believe her because he was a bit racist and thought, how could you poor Asian immigrants afford a house in Southern California already? And she was able to do that because she sold that gold that she brought out of the country so smartly. I wish for a world where we use our superpowers so that mothers or your children don't have to have that foresight, where she could have accessed and retained the value of her assets anywhere in the world with a simple digital wallet, that you don't have to rely on your children to not be able to know whether their assets are going to be there one day or the next. And so that's a really big vision of the world that I want to see. It's a vision of a world of win. It's a world where innovation and inspiration, technology and heart can actually empower people. And with that, I'm going to end by asking you to all, you'll go use your superpowers to create wins for yourself.